There we go, get it up and running there. Looks like YouTube did not want to accept my video title. Fine then. YouTube no longer allows the word transphobe.
The news is a shit show these days, and we're here to give you a break from the white supremacist media bullshit by bringing you the shitty news so that you can feel less like shit because you know the people discussing all the fucked up shit give a shit about you and the shitty situations you deal with every day. So shit. Pour yourself a glass and settle in for Father Teresa's wine cellar.
Suspended from school for 3 days for recording her geometry teacher using a racial slur in class. NBC News reporter Maya Eaglin is following this one for us. Hi, Maya.
Hi, Kate. There's been a bit of back and forth between the school and the family of the student who took this video. A warning to our viewers, some of what you're about to hear is offensive. Here's more.
Is the word allowed?
Okay, so I'm gonna say right now, as a teacher, if you want to keep your job, this isn't a threat.
I'm not calling anyone.
I understand.
I can say the word.
This exchange between a geometry teacher who used the N-word repeatedly and his student at Glendale High School in Springfield, Missouri, is brewing a firestorm of controversy.
Is the word allowed?
Okay, so I'm gonna say.
The video, obtained by NBC News affiliate KYTV, was recorded by 15-year-old sophomore Mary Walton last week. Walton was then suspended for 3 days because she violated the school's policy on recording faculty members without their approval. Glendale High School principal Josh Groves said in a message to the high school community on May 9th that the teacher's comments expressed on the video were inappropriate, inexcusable, and do not meet the professional standards for Springfield Public School employees. While the Springfield Public School District released a statement justifying the decision to suspend Mary, citing the student handbook policy on electronic devices and saying the teacher who used the racial slur in class is no longer employed by the district.
I don't know if it would have happened that quickly without this video. An investigation certainly would have taken longer.
Natalie Hall is the attorney representing Mary and her family.
We've asked them to lift the suspension, let her go back to school immediately, and apologize. Mary saw something that she believed needed to be reported.
The president of the Radio Television Digital News Association defending Mary's decision to record the incident.
The issue of right to record public officials really came to fruition in the days after the tragic death of George Floyd. And bear in mind, the world would not have seen the full picture of what happened to George Floyd were it not for a 17-year-old girl who stood on the sidewalk and videotaped the entire incident.
The president of the Media Association criticizing the school's handbook that prohibits recording of faculty or staff in the classroom.
I think the handbook policy as currently written is unconstitutional. More than half the U.S. District Courts of Appeal have unequivocally stated that citizens have a right lawfully to record the activities of public officials.
I'm not calling anyone.
The teacher's name has not been released by the school district. The district declined to comment to NBC News on whether it will be reevaluating its policy, expunge Mary's suspension, or apologize to her, citing student confidentiality. And as for 15-year-old Mary Walton,
She's dealing with anxiety. She doesn't really understand what she did wrong. It makes me sad because she did bring something to light that needed to be brought to light.
in a statement, Mary's mom defended her daughter, saying what any parent wants is to know that they have raised a child that has a good moral compass. My daughter demonstrated that, and I am incredibly proud of her, and so is her father and extended family.
Welcome back. Target is...
A teacher at McDonald Middle School in East Lansing will undergo racial bias training this summer after he admitted to using the N-word in one of his classes. Dennis Petrovitz, a 6th grade gym teacher, did not call another student the N-word. In a letter sent to students and families, the teacher wrote, "There were students using the N-word interchangeably among themselves. In his haste to redirect the behavior, he addressed the students by stating they shouldn't use that word, and in doing so, used the word himself." Petrovitz does take full responsibility for the harm his actions caused the students and says he knows how important his role as an educator is to set a positive example for students to maintain a supportive and inclusive classroom environment. East Lansing Public Schools have not responded to our requests for comment.
When the Kemp family moved to Lubbock, Texas 2 years ago, they knew that sending their son Brady to a new school might come with some challenges, but nothing prepared him, his mom Tracy, or stepdad Seth for what they were about to endure.
We feel singled out. We feel the racism here.
I just feel like it's blatant incompetence from the schools.
Over the last 2 school years, Brady Kemp and at least 9 other black children say they have been suffering from constant racial harassment. They hear classmates call them monkeys. Some students play sounds on their cell phones that mimic the crack of a whip.
I feel like I get looked down at.
How often would you say you heard the N-word?
It's an everyday thing.
Last spring, someone created an Instagram featuring the school's logo, encouraging classmates to send photos of monkeys. His mother was shocked to see a post of her son.
We watched him change, like his mood, not wanting to go to school, being sad.
Parents brought their concerns to the Lubbock Cooper School District, but 8 months later, they say they've never received an update and that white students keep taunting their kids. Without local action, they felt they had no choice but to turn to the federal government. This week, lawyers filed joint complaints, alleging that administrators in Lubbock and neighboring Slayton, Texas, violated the civil rights of their students by failing to prevent and respond to racial bullying. Attorney Paige Duggins-Clay represents the families.
The parents in these complaints and the students, they're not asking for money. All they're asking is for equal treatment under the law.
Keith Bryant, the district's superintendent, says the school has taken appropriate action and its staff are trained to report bullying. Do you believe there's racism here in Lubbock Cooper?
I believe that there is. Do I think our society is racist? Absolutely. Do I think it spills over in the schools? I will certainly say it can. We work really hard to try to mitigate that. There is no place in Lubbock Cooper ISD for racism in any form or fashion.
Bryant says the investigation into the racist Instagram account remains open.
They talked to hundreds of kids and never found out exactly who it was. I was frustrated about that. I sought the help of the FBI behind the scenes.
You interviewed hundreds of people, but none of the black students whose faces were posted on that Instagram page say that they were interviewed.
Well, I can't speak to that because the administration at that campus did that.
Monday night, families arrived to a school board meeting wearing all black.
We will not quit. We simply will not go away.
Their hope is that the federal government, which can withhold funds from schools that violate the law, will intervene. For Brady, he plans to spend the next few months focused on getting good grades. Next fall, his family hopes to move to a new town. Still, Brady has a message for the classmates he'll leave behind.
I bleed the same blood as you do. We do the same classes together, and you still treat me differently because I'm darker than you? Why?
Antonia Hilton, NBC News, Lubbock, Texas.
And new tonight at 10, a Folsom High School teen says that she has become the target of racist bullies, both at school and online. And tonight, the teen's mother is calling for the school to do more to protect her.
They keep on taunting her, like saying her name all the time, keep calling her racial names.
The 15-year-old student says this has been happening for months, but the school has not taken enough action.
In a KCRA3 exclusive tonight, Orko Manna explains what the girl's mother wants to see happen and also how the school district is responding.
Fighting back tears, Folsom High School freshman Anaya Peer tries to process her pain. The 15-year-old tells me fellow students have been calling her racial slurs since October.
They started saying the N-word in class.
Some alleged statements ripped from the headlines and taken as threats.
He said I can't breathe, the stuff from George Floyd. I think he's gonna do that to me.
Anaya says photos with racist captions were even sent on the social media app Snapchat.
And it said F you, the N-word, and then one said I hate people of color.
Anaya's mother, Tiffany, says her daughter no longer wears her typical long braids to school because classmates pulled her hair.
I don't get it. Why? Because she's beautiful black? Why? Because her hair is a different texture than you guys?
Tiffany tells me she only just found out about the bullying last week. She says Anaya told the school about the issues months ago, but nothing was done.
I think they should have made the school district aware, and they should have let me know too.
But in a statement, the Folsom Cordova Unified School District tells KCRA3 administrators at Folsom High were first made known of the activity last Friday, and immediately upon learning about it, the school and district administration took action. The district goes on to say all legal and due process measures are actively being pursued, stating that FCUSD will not tolerate acts of racism, hate, or bullying, and treat such egregious offenses with the fullest extent of disciplinary measures.
I feel like that's not enough.
Tiffany is not confident students will be held accountable because she says she's been made aware of past racist incidents at Folsom High.
It's some more kids that's at the school that's doing the same thing.
The only solution in her eyes is expulsion.
I just don't want them to go to the same school as my daughter. And if that can't happen, then I just will put my daughter up out of that school.
I don't feel safe at that school.
Anaya and her mother hope by speaking out, more action will be taken here at Folsom High School and on the district level. Reporting in Folsom, Orca Manna, KCRA 3 News.
The Folsom Cordova Unified School District tells KCRA they have communicated with Anaya and her mother, and that their first course of action was to tend to Anaya's well-being.
Now, sisters and brothers, we know we got over by the blood, the sweat, and the tears
I was injured.
of sheroes and heroes, some whose names we know and some whose names we do not know. But I'm going to tell you something, we have been here before. Now, the only difference is we got some company, Rev. We got our gay lesbian sisters and brothers with us this time. We got our Hispanic, Asian, Native American sisters and brothers with us this time. I think Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King said we may not have gotten here on the same ship, but we are in the same boat right now.
In Father Teresa's Wine Cellar, we believe all oppression is intersectional. And this means our analysis of current events frequently includes discussion of difficult and explicit content. Any combination of the following topics could be included in our show: murder, rape, war, climate change, racism, sexism, violence, sexual violence, homophobic violence, heterocentrism, discrimination and abuse against individuals of nonconformist sexuality, domestic violence, child abuse, child rape, child neglect, elderly abuse, verbal abuse, police brutality, microaggressions, ableism, cyberbullying, genital mutilation, ideological extremism, and people just being total fucking assholes.
Programs. Alright, that could be video. Alright, folks, I know. Climate change. Marjorie Taylor Greene. We didn't have the foresight to know she'd be a white supremacist. Alright, I know, that's the kind of game that you can win free. Yeah. And other such things. But, you see, the thing is, even though I am a Negro, somewhere between 5 and 6 feet, bald, and I don't wear red cone caps. I like to do things swift.
Wow.
And I like to tailor my podcast segments to that. Did you know that? Did you know that? You can Chomsky on the bit all you want to.
Y'all see what I have to put up with? Do y'all see what I have to put up with?
Do you see what Taylor Swift fans have to put up with?
They don't have to.
Why? That's what I was thinking. All right. So apparently there's a music singer.
Yes.
By the name of Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And a lot of people are worried that she's not well, and it isn't because the beat is sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And apparently, she's in a relationship with someone that doesn't really love all people, they more so hate.
Yes.
And they're just gonna hate.
Really?
And with your feelings, they're gonna play. To my understanding.
You need to know more than one Taylor Swift song is really what I'm getting from this segment.
Yeah, I actually don't know what the hot shit is about her, all right? Like, every time you're about to play Taylor Swift, turn that shit off and play Britney Spears and stop being silly.
Okay, but I do like the blank space one. I feel like that one, I like that one.
I wish it was a blank space on. All right. But yeah, like this is the deal. This is what's going on with folks.
Yeah,
They're,
so
they're
she's
bothered.
dating some guy named Matt Healy, who's like super fucking racist, and also in the past said that he would never date her because it would emasculate him. And then he goes on podcasts, which basically just sound like, you know, if 4chan had a podcast, basically, that's what he sounds like. Like laughing at the idea of like Japanese dudes working in concentration camps and did like the bad accent, you know? And just like a generally racist piece of shit. And she's dating him, and people are upset about it, I guess,
because they don't remember this shit from like so many white women. Like if a white woman is hetero, she's probably going to date or has dated or is dating or is married to a racist.
Yeah.
Like, just deal with that whenever you know that you're associating with a hetero white woman, that she's going to be involved with someone that's going to be racist at some point in her life.
I mean, I think it's two things.
Yeah.
I think that one, she has a really toxic parasocial relationship with her fans. But also I think that when you see someone, even if she is like a cis hetero white woman, because she's been famous for so long, because she has her own career, right? She's not like Britney Spears under that conservatorship thing.
Yeah.
She has her money. Like, you just sort of expect her to be better because she can literally afford to be better. It's not like racists are her only dating pool. Like, she could literally date anybody.
But then it's better to us. Is it better to her?
I think that's the thing, is people like, but if you're, and I think that's that, I don't know, sort of like plausible deniability that white women get. We're like, yeah, they do bad things, but they're not like rotten at their core. They're just in bad situations, and that's why they do bad things. So I think like that's where it's coming into play. But like, but if she was a good person, and well, maybe she's just not a good fucking person. Did you ever think about that? You know?
Yeah. Like, and I think before we hit record, like, what was leading into us saying, oh shit, let's hit record, because I was like, folks, like, the people that make records are not your friends. And I always say, Brother Lynch Hung, my favorite rapper, I decided it in my head like somewhere toward the end of 1996. I've hated that nigga the entire time. I can't stand him as a person, and I knew that from reading interviews in underground rap magazines, the Ill Tip and Murder Dog magazine, and I think he showed up in Rap Pages. He never really showed up in like the Source underground, right? And just from his, I was just like, I don't think I really like this guy.
Yeah.
But when the next album comes out, I'm gonna crank it. And is that, maybe that's an internet thing, like ever since the MySpace days?
Yeah, well, I think that it's, there's more of an entitlement to have sort of access to, I guess, like the inside details of your favorite celebrity because we're on social media. Because for one, now you have more access than you've ever had. Like 50 years ago, Twitter didn't exist. You had to like read a newspaper or read a magazine to be like, what is Tina Turner doing today?
Huh.
Now you can be like, what the fuck Beyonce tweeting about? Right?
How?
Like, so there's already more access, and I think that makes people feel more entitled. But also a lot of celebrities intentionally cultivate parasocial relationships with their fans. And that's just not something that used to happen like that back in the day. You know, like you can tweet something and Cardi B can retweet me and say I made a good point, right? And like now it's like we're kind of like friends. Like Cardi B retweeted me. Oh my god, you know.
Wow.
And it's like you're not actually friends, but people don't grasp it that way. And I think also a big part of it is a lot of celebrities now either gain or maintain their fame through social media. So in some way you sort of as a fan, you kind of feel like you're part of their success, right? Because Cardi B started off on Instagram, right? And then got on to like, I think Love and Hip Hop and all that. But like, if you were following her on Instagram, be like, well, I'm one of the people who helped boost you because I posted your shit. I retweeted your shit. Like, I'm one of the people who helped make you. Like, because you didn't show, because a lot of celebrities now aren't showing up out of nowhere. They're showing up because they have a social media presence that they can use to catapult them into further fame. And so I think a lot of fans have this sort of like, but I helped make you. Like, we're connected, right? We're connected.
God.
And I think that's like where a lot of people get fucked up, honestly.
They
like,
can't see the fucky luck virality of some of this shit.
No, they can't.
Yeah, because like, yeah, there are people that followed me on the Facebooks for a while, but out of nowhere, just happened to make a post pointing out that conservatives don't really care about desecrating the flag. And from there, the Facebook page, like, and I shit you not, in like a weekend, went from 5,000 followers to 20,000 followers and has been growing, and I've stalled at 120,000 followers. But like, it was just one post.
Yeah.
Like, there were way more insightful posts and podcasts and videos and songs. I've written songs on there, damn it.
Yes.
But just by pointing out that conservatives have flag underwear and that's desecrating the flag blew the shit up.
Yeah.
You know, and like, so no, it wasn't you. Sometimes it's lucky fuck virality because Cardi B is not that unique of a person. She's kind of like any other nigga-rican from the Bronx that you might fucking run into.
Yeah.
Like, they're not real. And then, like, in the context of, let's say, the male gaze, right? With the, I actually don't know what she looks like. I don't follow these people. But to my understanding, that's a big part of her appeal.
She's light-skinned and pretty and thick.
That's hella women.
Right.
Hella people. Hell, we're going into summertime. Go outside. Tell me you don't see a woman that you find attractive somewhere. Get the fuck out of here. Like, she just got lucky fuck virality. Oh, she worked really hard in the strip club, so the other strippers didn't?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Excuse me?
That's what I'm saying.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, man, like, nah, these people, they're not your folks like that. And again, with the cis, if you follow a cis hetero woman, deal with it. All right, white feminists had to come to terms with that with Hillary Clinton, right? You had to come to terms, like, during that Hillary run, white feminists had to hear everything they did not want to hear about the man that Hillary is connected to, with the fact that he raped Juanita Broderick and who knows who else, and that he ran with the Confederate flag on his shit when he ran for governor of Arkansas. Yeah, he ran for governor of Arkansas. That he put that as a political stunt when he was running for president in 1992. That he posed in front of a bunch of black prisoners in their orange jumpsuits to show that he'd be tough on crime and lock them niggers up. And keep in mind that that's coming right off the presidential run where they had Willie Horton in 1988. Like, just deal with it. And then the one that we covered, Lacey Green.
Yeah.
The death penalty.
That with the when they went to go see the guy executed.
Yeah. Yeah, cause that like he was like mentally to the point that he didn't know he was being executed and he didn't finish his last meal and he thought he'd be able to finish it after whatever this thing was they were doing.
Yep.
Yeah, like come on. And we covered Lacey Green.
Yes.
We titled the episode "Lacey Got Her Green and Bounced on Y'all." Ghosted y'all. Yeah, I use cool language like ghosted. I'm pretty hip like that, you know. I'm like HIPAA, you know.
Like HIPAA.
Yeah, I'm like a Peppa Pig HIPAA. But
can you whistle?
Who?
Can you whistle? That was the Peppa Pig episode that everyone lost their shit over.
I think you sent me that when I still lived in Florida. It's been a long time.
She was hilarious though.
Did you whistle?
Yeah, Peppa couldn't whistle. So she calls her friend and she's like, "Can you whistle?" And her friend whistles and she just hangs up on her.
I'm guessing that became a meme. That was on HBO, right?
No, it was a kid show. It was on like fucking Nickelodeon or something.
It wasn't on HBO?
No, it was a kid. No, it was absolutely a kid show.
I'm definitely confusing that with something from the mid-90s then.
Oh, no.
Yeah, maybe Little Lulu.
Little Lulu.
Yeah, I might be confusing that with Lulu. Maybe. All right. Was there more on the...
No, I just don't assume that just because someone has the privileged to make better choices that they actually will, because they might still just be a bad person at their core.
And you know what? And for those, and also like whatever you think is bad, right? Because remember, there's very few of you that have been following my shit for this entire 11 years, right? Because there was the atheist, cool. But then I'm like, black atheists and a bunch of y'all white niggas ran away. Yeah. Then it was like, oh, and we don't have any beef with feminists. We think patriarchy ain't that cool and we don't like slut shaming. Bunch of y'all misogynists ran the fuck away. Mm-hmm. And then there were a lot of the women left and I was like, not really into that capitalism lean in shit. And y'all called that misogyny and ran the fuck away. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, hey, you know what? Trans women and sex workers, no matter their gender, they should have rights and liberty and freedom in the whole deal. And y'all transphobes and fucking swerfs ran the fuck away. Mm-hmm. Like, but I have 100,000 of my cool folks left. Yes. And that's a big number.
Just be consistently leftist. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Or like just be on the side of like, I don't know, like giving folks autonomy that doesn't harm others.
Yes.
Right? Like a trans woman has autonomy that doesn't harm others if I was in political power. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like transitioning does not transgress me.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm talking? You know what? Turn that into a transition. Excuse me, but an 87-year-old woman got dumped in a wheelie bin in Dublin, Ireland? Mm-hmm. Excuse me, because a nigga thought that she was transgender, and was she even going in a bathroom? Wasn't she just walking down the street?
Yeah, she was trying to go to a So, okay, first of all, she has dementia.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and for some reason she thought like the grocery store was open, so she was trying to go to the grocery store in the middle of the night because she has dementia. And that was where he found her, was like walking to the store in the middle of the night.
Women, what would you do if men had a curfew?
Shit.
Go to the grocery store in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
And dumped her, and keep in mind, this is from Dublin, Ireland, so it says wheelie bin. For the McAmericans, that's like your garbage dumpster on the wheels that you push out to the curb for them to pick up.
Yeah.
Which, like, how wacky are you? Like, yeah, she has dementia, but you have bigotry, which isn't a word yet, but I want it to be, because, like, to the degree of your bigotry makes you lift up a human being at night, and also you're physically coming in contact with her body, and you still don't think maybe she's cis.
I mean, even if she wasn't cis, she's like, regardless of gender, this was a fucking senior citizen, no matter how you cut it. Like, you whooped like an 80-year-old's ass for no reason. Like, you can't go around hitting frail ass old people. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, nigga, how many 87-year-old people do you know that pass for 30? Yeah, not even Angela Bassett's gonna pull that one off. And even the what's homegirl that did the Sports Illustrated joint?
Martha Stewart.
Where Ben Shapiro made sure everyone knows that he doesn't read the swimsuit issue. Mm-hmm. I make sure that I call them and I say, do not send me that one. I don't read nipples. All right? Lumpy nipples. I don't read Braille. I have able eyes that can only see literature, not titerature. Right, and even her joint, like, I think it hit my news feed because, like, I deliberately don't look for that stuff. Like, when it hits the headline, I don't go try to find it. Like, if it hits my news feed, I see it, I keep scrolling. Still look like an old person. Like, just be like, and that be the cold shit about like patriarchy, right? If you're still skinny and wear makeup and have long hair, then it's like, she's so hot, and it's like, leave that old ass woman alone and let her be rich and hang out with her Crip friend. She just wants to hang out with her gangbanger friends.
Yes, she does.
Jesus.
Felons of a feather.
Yeah. Right? Even though she did more time than him.
She did.
Right? Snoop never even been to the penitentiary. He's only been to county jail. I hope some of y'all know that. Snoop's only been to county.
I love the fact that also, like, when she talked about her prison experience, she was doing arts and crafts in prison, basically. That shit was fucking hilarious to me. Like, she said that, like, all the inmates loved her. Someone crocheted her a shawl. Like, while she was in there.
And wasn't that, like, 20 years ago?
It was a while ago.
Yeah, I think I was still in Washington State back then. Way back when.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but yeah.
But yeah, nigga, like leave these folks alone, right? That was a transition into that one, and I think I'll pause and slap one. Come on, wait, pause. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Beat it up, N-word. Catch a charge.
All right, then Phoenix Calida wanted to engage in some reverse racism, to my
I
understanding.
would love to engage in some reverse racism. Also maybe some cis sexism while we're here. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because as we were talking in the last segment about that poor old woman who got beat up and dumped into a trash bin because someone thought she was trans, it made me think of Glinner, but apparently you don't know who Glinner is because you are not chronically online the way I am, especially on Twitter. Glinner, whose actual name is Graham Linehan. I don't know how the fuck you say his name. I don't actually give a shit. He's a piece of shit. You don't need to respect him in any fucking meaningful capacity. He is from the UK, and he's like the weirdest fucking transphobe I've ever seen. But as we were talking about that story, it just made me think of him.
All right, that is the weirdest transphobe you've ever seen.
The weirdest. Like, the fucking, like, yes.
I'm ready for some quotes.
So, okay, first of all, you have to understand he's so transphobic that his wife left him. Like, he literally got divorced because of his transphobia, and he has, like, done nothing but double down on it ever since then.
That sounds like leftist Jeopardy. Like, that sounds like a leftist game show. How racist is he? How transphobic are you? He's so transphobic that when someone I don't know, Jesus. Yeah. Come up with your own punchline.
But no, he was in my newsfeed again because a trans man had some surgery, and he posted their I don't even know how he got these pictures, but he posted their post-op pictures, like, of their genitals now. Like, yeah, that's the kind of person he is. And that's why I said I don't give a fuck I'm not going to learn how to pronounce his name. I just don't care.
You know, and that's why way back when I first started this podcasting business, I used to say, like, call them what they are. Creepy Christians that can't stop thinking about your genitals.
Yes.
They are always thinking about other people's genitals.
Seriously, they are. And so he's always, like, just doing weirdo ass, like, transphobic shit like that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because the reason that I found out about him in the first place is because he's one of those, I'm just trying to protect women, even though he absolutely hates women very clearly. But he went on to a all-women dating app, right? But made himself, like, just put makeup on, but, like, very badly put makeup on, claiming to be trans to see if he could, like, be on the app. Yeah, he literally, so yeah, all the shit that they accuse trans women of doing, he actually does as a cis man. He will put on makeup and pretend to be trans to infiltrate women's spaces to be like, and this is why you can't let men in women's spaces. You're the reason we can't have men in women's spaces. Trans women are not the problem here, Glinner. You're the problem here.
Every conservative accusation
is a confession.
That
is the worst game show of all time. Yeah, like, he literally, I don't even know if you can get it on the camera. That's the picture he posted for the dating app. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking, like, hideous. It's fucking hideous.
Also,
Yes.
I'll bring that up on screen in post.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so he just, I don't know, and he lives in England, right? So he's a turf islander.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but he's just like this weirdo guy, and I don't understand this, like, level of transphobia. However, it does lead into the shit that's also been happening on dating apps that are supposed to be for women only, and some of them are allegedly for cis women only, and men are actually infiltrating them. Not trans women, men. Not trans women, men. Cis men who are part of the gender critical movement are making fake profiles to get on these apps so they can try to identify other trans women. So far, they've only been able to identify themselves. It's like 3 dudes who all found each other accusing each other of trying to be trans women. But they're all gender critical cis hetero men who are there to protect women by infiltrating a dating app for women to look for trans women on an app for women, which they are doing as cis men.
Oh, cool. It's kind of like with the way I used to wear my hair. One of y'all niggas probably would have ran up on me in my early 20s. I wish you would have. You wouldn't have put me in a wheelie bin. We would have had ourselves a grand old fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like y'all niggas, they're fucking violent, and also their violence never lands like on each other.
Yeah.
Right, like because it's on the application, And also, like, wear that shit outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really go for it then.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, that just, as we were talking about the case in Ireland, because, you know, Ireland's like right there next to England. And yeah, it just made me think of Glinner. And also something I just want to point out about like that really invasive picture he posted of the trans man's post-op bottom surgery is that he didn't even have the decency to like blur it out or put like a trigger warning on it.
Wait, how did he find the photos?
I don't know.
Like, did the trans man post them somewhere to just be like, oh, hey, I did this for my friends, like, or something?
I don't know.
So, yeah, where the fuck did he get that shit?
I mean, honestly, it's like the fucking Swerps. How do they find so much fucking child sexual content? I don't fucking know.
Well,
because I don't look for that shit. I don't fucking know where they find it.
Right, we know that Jordan Peterson literally tries to find it on Twitter, which means Jordan Peterson's probably Layla Mickelwait's biggest fan.
Ooh, oh god, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't actually know where he found it from, but like I think the super disgusting part is that he didn't even like have the decency to put like a trigger warning or like blur it out. And when people were like, this is upsetting, we don't want to see someone's genitals, he was like, oops, sorry, I don't know how to blur it out, so I just posted it. So, like, you knew you were going to upset, not just but in an attempt to, like, own the transes or what the fuck ever. Like, you also involuntarily triggered a bunch of other people, and, like, you're fine with that because propaganda? Like, what is wrong with these people? There's something, like, mentally wrong with them.
It's kind of like they're generally sadists, because, like, they don't care if they bother their own side.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, some Christian that's just looking at their Twitter in church, like, now that just showed up while a Christian child was looking over their shoulder at the phone while they were scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, see, you really don't give a fuck about anything, right? But you say that the people that self-identify as anarchists are the wacky snacks motherfuckers. And it's like, no, y'all want, what is it, Christo-fascism or anarcho-fascism, right? Is that the language? I don't read about these things enough to really be saying them with so much confidence.
I think Christo-fascism is definitely.
What about anarcho-fascism? You know these things.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, I know you do, you nerd. Phoenix Leader thinks reading is so important.
Reading is fundamental.
You're a fundamentalist. You're a fundamental cis.
But yeah, I know. That was like a totally unrelated tangent to anything. It just, because we were talking about that poor old lady in Ireland, and that just made me think of it.
Yeah, and that came from Taylor Swift.
And that came from Taylor Swift, and this is why we're highly tangential people.
Yeah.
You ain't cool unless you pee your
That's
pants.
the downside of being informed. You can draw too many like connections to things. Like, but what about that time?
I am the hip hop socialist.
Let me pause it down. All right, and there goes, hey, through the magic of pause, right? The video is going to be weird because I just keep unpausing it. There are no breaks in that video. All right, BreadTube. You see, this is where you go. Now, the thing about BreadTube is it's where good, new, young white people are de-radicalizing racist and de-radicalizing misogynists and making them better people for the future. This is what BreadTube does.
Yeah.
To my understanding, that's what they've told me.
That's why they have to debate Nazis to de-radicalize them.
Yeah, I've never done the research to see if that's actually happening. So we're just going by their claim.
It's not happening.
We're looking at some of how they are doing this. Now, I'm guessing that Brianna Joy Gray said something about something, which I've generally unfollowed Brianna Joy Gray because if she just did monologues by herself, I could listen to her.
Yeah.
But she is obsessed with sitting across the table from people that never say anything new. Like right now in the thumbnail that we're looking at that the listeners to this program can't see, there she is on Rising, sitting across from Robbie. And all Robbie is gonna say is the same conservative shit that I've been hearing since I've been paying attention to like that kind of talk since around 1989. Same shit. It's boring.
Yeah.
Or she won't like she did have like a conversation with FD Signifier, interesting. Or she had a conversation with a conservative that I disagree with, but he goes into some wacky places and does say some different shit. Irami Osim Frimpog, his name is hard for me to pronounce. You know, like I'll listen to those, but like she be sitting across from like Newt Gingrich level Republicans, like same old Rush Limbaugh 1994 ass shit we've been hearing. It bores me to death. If Brianna does monologues, I will refollow her. But yeah, what happened with her?
So she basically said that we should start defunding the FBI, which I wholeheartedly agree with. However, guess who else agrees with that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Damn, this is... Wait a second. So BreadTube is just now on this old ass shit?
I think it got rehashed again.
Cause this is from back when they ran up in Mar-a-Lago because that nigga Trump was like, they're my papers.
Yes.
My daddy says they're mine.
Oh God, as you say that, I just am imagining him with the picture in the truck.
Oh God, yeah.
Mine. Folks,
remember that, like Donald Trump in a semi-truck literally playing.
It's Touch a Truck Day.
God.
So anyways, yeah, so basically Marjorie Taylor Greene also thinks that we should defund the FBI. I'm quite certain, without even researching it for a half a second, for radically different reasons than Brianna Joy Gray did. Okay. However, Vosh has some strong-ass opinions about that. And basically said that not only should Brianna kill herself because Marjorie agreed with her, but that she should actually commit seppuku, the ritual disembowelment thing with like a katana sword. Kind of a fucking grisly ass way to go.
Yeah, but then again, it's like, but this is how you de-radicalize, right? It's how you walk people down to with a more reasonable level of things.
Yes, because I, for one, know with absolute certainty that Nazis would never like to see a black woman commit suicide by ritual disembowelment.
Hey, Matt. Vosh is about to defend saying the N-word.
Look, he's de-radicalizing.
He's de-radicalizing.
All right. Look, you didn't know that, did you?
Mm-hmm.
I bet you didn't.
It's saying the N-word before. I said it on the Kill stream. I posted a comment in the section defending it. I stand by my use of the N-word in that respect.
De-radicalizing, you say?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Oh, man, that whole, like, so much of that video clip was just him chuckling because this is funny and it's de-radicalizing.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
All right, so let's hear this latest instance of how he is taking fascists off the deep end.
I mean, you literally had Marjorie Taylor Greene agreeing with Brianna Joy Gray. Listen, bring back seppuku. If Marjorie Taylor Greene...
But wouldn't Marjorie Taylor Greene also agree with saying the N-word?
Yes.
Someone from Forsyth County, Georgia?
Yes.
All right, so she agrees with you too.
Mm-hmm.
Ever quote tweets you affirmatively, under any circumstances, you should disembowel yourself, right?
Wait, but then also, didn't misogynists agree with Vosh when he said, women shut up and be humble day?
Yes. Yes. De-radicalizing. He's de-radicalizing.
And that's the thing, like, it's not just that I'm from an older world, but like, I'm also from the old internet. And like, on the old internet, we were on forums, and there was like no oversight, and there was nowhere. And like, after a while, you have a disagreement with someone to the point of like, are we in the same town? Let's shoot the fair one and close this off. Like, I've actually met cats and just handled that. You know, one of them was a student, you Florida kids will know this, was a student at Full Sail. Yeah, that place where you go to waste your money and never become an audio engineer.
Right? Is that not honorable? That seems like a very basic thing to me, like very logical.
Now, I'm pretty sure that if someone heard us covering this, they'd be like, well, it's obvious he's joking.
Is he?
This doesn't sound like a joking tone at all.
What is, if he's joking, what's the punchline?
Yeah, what's the setup and what's the punchline?
Why is it funny? What's funny?
Make it a three-part joke. Premise, middle, punchline.
What am I supposed to be laughing at if this is a joke?
The black woman bleeding.
Oh.
Which Marjorie Taylor Greene would disagree with. That's one thing she never wants to see. Also, keep in mind, Tamala Horsford was murdered in Forsyth County.
I was actually glad to see her story getting more traction after that, like, atrocious ass white woman tears thing after the Jordan Neely murder.
Ah.
Did you see that? I don't know. Again, you're not on Twitter that much, but...
Was it the one with the bicycle at the hospital?
No. It was after Jordan Neely got murdered and a bunch of white women were like, but we feel unsafe on subways. And then, you know, of course, the response was as expected because it's like, just shut the fuck up unless somebody's actually actively trying to harm you. And then some white woman is like, well, you can't say that homeless men aren't a danger. Would you rather be in a room with 100 bougie women or 100 homeless men? And somebody posted that last picture of Tamala Horsford on the couch with all those white people. And I was like, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I could handle the homeless men. Like, let's say the homeless men do try to attack me. Well-fed and exercised me, who has tools and knives in his pockets.
But also, like, most homeless people aren't fucking violent.
And then also, here's the part. You really think they're gonna attack me? Nigga, I'm gonna pull out my smart device and order like 10 pizzas on Uber Eats.
Right.
And everybody's gonna fucking have some slices of pizza, and then I'm gonna stand up on some pallets and talk about how we need to take down capitalism together.
Not you, like, I won't get political. Me after 2 beers. We need to.
Right. And given by what I'm feeding them, yeah, this is my army of Ninja Turtles. Like, cowabunga, we're taking down the fucking boss.
Not my army of Ninja Turtles. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know what the punchline is. I don't know what the setup is. It doesn't sound like he's joking to me.
We only heard half of it. We didn't hear the punchline yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he's gonna turn to the screen and be like, "Woogie boogie, nigger. I was just joking."
That seems like a very basic thing to me. Like very logical. You know, very straightforward. I like just it's at that point nothing but seppuku can right the dishonor you've done to yourself and your
Cautious
family.
about the defense
3 generations of pucks
I have defended
you've
saying
brought
you.
upon yourself and your kin. Disgraceful. I mean,
that sounded funny.
It's hilarious. Fucking funny. Wow.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let's take a look at this. Because I'm sure there's a thread under it. So the person that posted this to the Twitter is Alexi. Is this one of your best good friends?
I actually don't know that person. They showed up because if you see in the comments, someone named Chuck commented, and that's how I found it because I follow Chuck.
Okay. Oh, someone named Lily responded and said based.
I blocked them.
So they have so Lily has been de-radicalized. Lily Froggy Girl. You know, and that's why, see, whether they call themselves left or right, if I see a Japanese animation cartoon profile picture, I click away.
But also, notice their profile says lovey-dovey. What sounded lovey-dovey about telling Brianna to... And I don't even like Brianna like that, but like just telling her to commit suicide because she said something that was true.
And then what, somebody retweeted their own tweet. Oh,
That's Chuck. Yeah, that's how I found it.
Oh, they're in good Chuck. Okay. Try not to be toxic to black women challenge. Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, like, and that is why, FD Signifier drives those people straight up the fucking wall. Because this is one reason why they can't stand him. First off, he's black and they're racist.
Yes.
But then he's being black and in their business the wrong way. Because this is how they do the business. They are not actually good people with good ideas. They're, you know what? I guess the modern nomenclature is edgelord, right?
Yeah.
Even though back in my day it would be shock jock. You know, these are shock jock radio hosts, right? Are they not sitting in front of a microphone? Are they not broadcasting a show? Sounds like a radio show. Sounds like a shock jock. And remember, a jock is a disc jockey, right? That's the person that runs the radio show. And shock that's what they're supposed to you know, bring the viewers in with, that they're gonna say something shocking.
Yeah.
Right? And so by him wishing this violence upon her, it's supposed to shock you, and he's the jock. I think I over-explained it. Right? And and they have to do this every day for a long time. They stream for like 5 to 8 hours. Sometimes they stream for 12 hours. And then they hire editors because they make so much money off of YouTube super chats, you know, donations through what's it called, Twitch, Patreon subscribers. They make an ass load of money. But they do have to shell out several thousand a month on editors to take those long ass streams, cut out the best clips, and make those YouTube videos that will also be monetized, and also turn them into podcast episodes that will also be monetized. Remember, podcast and YouTube are 2 different things, all right? Okay. And so they do all that. FD Signifier drops on average 1 video a month. But they're so good that he makes the same amount of money they make.
Yeah.
Because he's black dark-skinned nigger black and does better than them at what he does once a month than what they do every fucking day.
Yeah.
Right? So that bugs the hell out of what up.
Yeah. I was like, it's not hard to do better than them in that aspect because they don't really do anything. All they're doing is being controversial and edgy.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many times can you make the same rape joke? How many times can you make the same nigger joke? Like
And I'll tell you what else they do. A lot of what they do is not even really work. This is why I lost interest, like when I first found BreadTube and I subscribed to Vosh because I wanted to know what my comrades were talking about because they said he's a piece of shit and I wanted to contextualize it for myself. And I followed the Surf Times because I thought the Lance kid was kind of funny. Come to find out, he thinks that black people should just shut the fuck up about microaggressions. And I followed them and I realized what they really do is they click on other people's videos, watch them, skip around, and comment on what they're watching. That is an assload of what they do.
Yep.
Like when if Vosh drops one, then some nigga named Xanderthal is gonna watch his and then monetize himself watching Vosh, while Vosh monetized himself watching FD. Right? The Surf Times monetized themselves watching Demon Mama. They have some really stupid fucking names. Some other nigga named Jesse Gender. But they're a bunch of little niggas. Maybe these names are cool now and I'm just 40 and black.
no, these names were never cool. Also, I feel like I know Jesse Gender.
Yeah, but that's why they strongly dislike FD. And then also they don't like FD because he isn't always dealing with them. Like his videos are long form videos about like the rise and fall of Kanye West. A video about the career of Mike Tyson and black masculinity and toxic black masculinity, right? Long form videos. Like he has a long form video just about the frustration of being a Lauryn Hill fan that really just resonate with like smart black millennials and Gen Xers. I would say smart emotional black millennials and Gen Xers. And then he'll drop one where it's just like the problem with BreadTube. You know, and like he's only dropping like one of those like once every 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And that really because they'll do like 10 videos in a row dissing him. And he's like, I don't have time for that. Like, and then at the same time, he makes enough money off of this shit. Like he makes the money they make that now his black wife doesn't have to go to work anymore and he's working from home. So now these are two educated black parents at home raising their black children directly and deliberately while these white kids are like hustling YouTube videos every day. They hate that nigga. And like their hatred for him makes him more appealing to me. Even though his Nicki Minaj video is garbage, everything else he does is pretty solid.
Yeah, it just amuses me how they're, we're not racist, but also fuck you black people who are successful. Okay.
Yeah, and he mocks them back. Well, let me look at what, because FD changed his Twitter handle to really bug him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Famous wealthy YouTuber?
Yeah, famous wealthy YouTuber FD Signifier. And then he changed his bio to Smarty Art Negro and General Know-It-All. Check out my YouTube to hear me overanalyze black movies and media.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then you know what else recently happened? You ever heard of these niggas named ABBA and Preach?
I feel like I have, and I feel like I'm not supposed to like them.
They're a couple of Coon-Adians. All right. Yeah. That's a hip word I just made up there. And one of them pretended to donate $10,000 to the Atlanta Police Department for Cop City.
Oh, that was fake.
Yeah. Well, at least he said it was fake in the aftermath. After other people because apparently he doesn't know about the microcosm that is Black Twitter, because the guy ABBA, he really just consorts with racist white people as the token black friend. That's like his job. He loves it. And and when those other black people got at him, then he came out like, it was just joking. It was just a little Photoshop art. That's all. And it's like, I believe that's what they call taking a L.
Yes.
But this is the thing, though. And this is something that I also learned from these niggas like FD, you know, because I'm just finding these guys in recent months. Have you ever heard of kayfabe?
No.
There may have just been a car crash outside our house again. But you ever heard of So you never heard of kayfabe?
I don't think so.
Apparently, it's this thing with professional wrestlers where they don't come out of character even when they're not at the wrestling event. So like if they're on CNN and it's like, oh hey, Macho Man Randy Savage, what's it like buying a Snickers bar? And he's like, it's a Snickers, brother. You know it. Love the peanuts. And the thing is, you never come out of character. And that's what these white YouTubers are.
Yeah.
They refuse. Like Vosh can never come out of his character. On the one, it's bad for business because he's already appealed to an audience that will make him $50,000 or more a month. Right. So he has to be kayfabe all the time. And the same thing is with that ABBA guy who donated that money. So I looked at his little video in the aftermath, and he got with his little racist friend that goes by the name of Destiny. His name is actually Steve.
Destiny is fucking trash. Yeah.
Yeah, that is who ABBA walks around with his hand in his pocket.
God,
my West Coast niggas know what that means.
Coonery and buffoonery.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's got ABBA's hand in his pocket hard, walking the yard. Again, I'm not explaining it to those that don't know. Right? Learn it. And especially if you want to be out there in these streets protesting and getting arrested, learn it. And so that's who ABBA runs behind. And they did their little video together, and all they did was kayfabe and just be like, no, he's just still stupid and we're still right. Essentially is what their 30-minute video came down to, and their follow-up 12-minute video, and their follow-up 45-minute video. And again, they did that many. FD hasn't dropped a video in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
Do you need to take a break from that uncomfortable ass chair?
No, I'm actually okay.
You're actually okay.
Yeah.
That chair sucks ass. All right.
But yeah, fuck BreadTube, honestly. Like, I can't fucking get with these people. They're so fucking racist, honestly. And I think the wildest thing to me is, like, they will say the most racist shit and then be like, we're not actually racist, though. And it's like...
Which at this point, that's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm telling you right now, if I was white and just a total sociopath about capitalism or political power, I would just be like, yeah, I'm racist. And like, what are you going to do about it? You going to stop me? Like, that would literally be my speech. Like, my speech would be, here I am. Matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. I'm in an open carry state. I'm going to strap on my strap. And I'm going to go walk around a black neighborhood Facebook Live holding up a sign that says, I'm racist, fuck you gonna do about it? Because there is no consequence. White people have made up this myth of a consequence for just being racist. Now, if you walk, and now me as a black person, if you walk up to me while I'm in Menards and I'm like, oh, look, a new weed whacker, and you smack me in the face, now there could be a consequence. But just being racist doesn't come with a consequence.
Right.
Because if it was, there'd be so many dead white people.
I'm saying.
Do you understand? There'd be a drive-by from Miami to Puyallup. Like, nigga, it would be one long AK-47 drive-by if there was actually a consequence for being racist.
Yeah.
Like, niggas would post up with sniper rifles and just take out white politicians at their outdoor rallies. Blah! Blah! And happily go to jail. I'm just one dude, not part of an organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the fuck. There's no we just don't want you to harm us is all.
Yeah.
So really own your shit, as they say.
What is that one quote about, like, if someone hates me because I'm black, like, that's their problem, but if they have the, like, structural power to hurt me, now it's my problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Right, yeah, structural power or just the willingness to think it's time for you to deliver that slap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've rambled quite a bit. Over-explaining BreadTube.
BreadTube is trash. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah, it is ass butt. Big time.
Yeah.
Posy
it's where like the liberals go.
I think we hit our shit up there.
We did. We were gonna do a political story that we haven't done one of those yet.
Oh my Jesus.
Or like actual news, real news.
Yeah.
News that matters.
Well, the wheelie bin one.
We did cover that.
Yeah. Let's see something something legislative. to some degree or another. Well, they do have the debt ceiling.
They do have the debt ceiling.
Which will pass. Folks, look, Gen Z, if any of you are tuned into me because I'm so based. Gen Z, look, the debt ceiling thing, it's gonna pass. And the reason why it's gonna pass is because the Democrats are going to give in to the Republican demands.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes every time.
Oh yeah, Joe Biden already put out his little like bullshit ass statement about how hard it is to like deal with Republicans, as if he's not fucking quoted on news on like several fucking major news outlets saying we need a strong Republican Party like a year ago. But you know.
Yeah, and whenever the government shutdown happens, it's really like some parks and shit stop. You know, like some workers get furloughed. We know that's coming. Like it happened under the Gingrich one, right?
Yeah.
Remember that one? And then it happened, I don't think it didn't get shut down under Obama. That was just a threat, but it did happen under Trump. Was that 2018?
Yeah. Can I present my like little conspiracy theory about that right now?
Yeah.
Is that like it's happening right now, and I think Republicans actually want to have to furlough workers because it's almost June. What happens in June? That just got passed.
Uh-oh.
Juneteenth.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
Even if it's not all of them, there's at least like 15 of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, black people are, I hate saying like disproportionately represented because that sounds like a negative thing, but they are overrepresented in federal jobs, right?
So like represent like beyond our per capita in society.
like there's because you have to like so many fucking black people work at like the post office and shit, right? And stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of black people in federal jobs. So like I know a lot of white racists were salty as fuck when the Juneteenth got passed as a federal holiday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, and you see, and that's good that Fees Cleater says that, because the only time I talk about Juneteenth, I talk about it as a factory worker, where it's like, so all the coloreds on the factory floor still have to get on that forklift while the white office workers get the day off. Juneteenth.
When I pointed that out on Twitter, people got so fucking mad at me. They're like, but it helps black people. I was like, not all black people.
Yeah, like, tell them. My husband had to go to work.
Every fucking black person should get Juneteenth off. Leave me the fuck alone.
Right? Yeah, and then fuck that Tariq Nasheed shit where he's going to be like, oh no, the white people are going to pop up and be like, I'm 1/16 black. Well, I don't give a shit. Do I still get the day off?
Right.
I don't give a fuck. Ooh, oh no, there's no white Uber drivers to deliver some food. I'm gonna barbecue anyway. I don't give a shit.
And also, like, did you just now learn that white racist people are, like, dishonest?
Just now.
And I mean, you're fucking, but also, like, how the fuck you caping for the Republican Party? But, anyways, as I have said repeatedly, ADOS and FBA takes their talking points from white supremacists, and it shows. Ugh.
Yes, ma'am.
Ugh. Anyway.
All right, what kind of colored business you got here?
I know we said legislative, but this is not actually legislative, but still relevant, I think. This is about the 988, which is a hotline number that you can call if you are having a mental health crisis. That being said, don't ever fucking call it, especially if you're having a mental health crisis. So, the rapid growth of the new 988 mental health hotline has been greeted with positive media coverage. As people expected, calls, texts, and chats to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, now renamed the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, started climbing immediately with the launch of the 988 number in July of 2022. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and the nonprofit that was given centralized control over the 988 system, known as Vibrant Emotional Health, has been releasing monthly updates on key metrics. In April 2023 compared to April 2022, calls answered increased by 52%, chats by 90%, and texts by 1,022%. The trend was heralded by Federal Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra, saying, quote, "Our nation's transition to 988 moves us closer to better serving the crisis care and needs of people across America. 988 is more than a number. It's a message. We're there for you."
The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline went from 10 digits to just 3 over the weekend. 988, that's all you need to connect with a specially trained counselor for the new National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Our Brett Forrest joins us live in the newsroom to explain why some mental health advocates are encouraging people not to call the number. It's the big story tonight.
Yeah, Marie, good evening. You would think a new, easier to remember number like 988 would be welcomed with open arms. for people who need the help. Well, some mental health advocates are saying that it'll actually send them into police and emergency care when that's not the help that they actually need.
988, the new suicide and crisis hotline. The easy-to-remember number considered a big step in helping those in need. Now, a counter-movement from mental health advocates encouraging people not to call.
988 is not friendly. Don't call it, don't post it, don't share it without knowing the risks.
That's Liz Winston. She made a viral social post outlining why she's against 988. The risks, she says, include police involvement, involuntary treatment, and medical debt.
While we like the idea of rescuing a person who is in crisis, people deserve to be fully informed that they may be taken involuntarily to an emergency room or to a public psychiatric hospital.
She cites data showing up to 20% of Lifeline callers may receive a police or emergency response, saying these experiences can carry lifelong trauma.
Will we be missing the context of why someone is suicidal in a phone call?
Other activists like Vesper Moore say the same, arguing 988 responders could share a caller's location if they feel it's necessary.
Even though 988 has been really marketed as something that will not have police involvement, there is still geolocation.
Here in Nevada, the state says they can't trace a caller's location, but confirms they could route a number to support services, but it's rare.
For some statistics, out in the last quarter, out of 22,000 calls, less than 1% of them had a welfare check.
And a Clark County counselor says anti-988 posts do more harm than good.
I think they're going to find out that 988 is going to be is going to turn out to be something really great and fantastic. It just needs more time.
In Clark County, he says there's one suicide a day, and that bottom line, we need to help each other.
We're all going through these problems, and mental behavioral health is an issue that is for everybody. It's okay not to be okay.
And mental health advocates I spoke to who are against 988 tell me that if someone feels they may truly harm themselves and are willing to be hospitalized, then they should call the number. But otherwise, they recommend calling what they dub warm lines instead of hotlines. And for more information on those, I'll have a link on our website, newsstreetpulse.com.
Moving
the Raiders to Las Vegas.
As previously reported by Madden America, a percentage of people who contacted the former National Suicide Prevention Hotline were subjected to geolocation tracing of their phone, computer, or mobile device. The Lifeline advertised itself as a place for confidential discussions about suicidal feelings, but according to its own policy, if a call attendant believes a person might be at imminent risk of taking their own life in the next few hours, days, or week, the call attendant was required to contact 911 or a public safety answering point to send out police and ambulance and forcibly take that person to a psychiatric hospital. Many Lifeline users described experiences of betrayal, public exposure, police interactions, loss of freedoms, and forced psychiatric treatment that they called dangerous, harmful, and traumatizing. Yeah. That's what's going on. So if you call the suicide prevention hotline, cops may show up at your house and forcibly remove you and take you to a psychiatric hospital. Hannah Collins, the director of marketing and communications, told Madden America that still less than 2% of all contacts use emergency services. Danny Bennett, a spokesperson, said that based on the network call centers, we estimate that fewer than 2% Lifeline calls require connection to emergency services like 911. This is something that I hate about statistics, is like how you can just reduce everything into a number. But it was less than 2%. Okay, but those were still people. Those 2% are still human beings who had the cops show up, which is fucking violent. You had armed men show up at their house, first of all. Removed forcibly, drugged, taken to a psychiatric hospital, which psychiatric hospitals are no fucking picnic. You know, like... But it was only 2%. It's still 2% of people. People. You know?
Right? Like, it seems like once they get to a percent that they think is low enough, they just equate it to zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they also note in this article, however, continuing at 2% means that detentions are climbing on pace with the rising number of contacts. That means over the past 10 months, a staggering 81,000 Americans who've reached out to 988 for confidential conversations have ended up coercively taken to psychiatric hospitals. It's only 2%. 2% doesn't sound like a lot. Now, when you say 81,000 people... It's
Right.
only 2%.
Like, there are towns that don't have that many people.
Yeah.
Like, when we were in Elgin, did Elgin have that many folks?
Yeah, there's like, I think, like 150,000 in Elgin, but yeah.
Oh, shit. So, over 50% of this. So, imagine over 50% of a town the size, I think Tacoma's more well known. Over 50% of the town of Tacoma disappears.
Mm-hmm.
You think it might be a little weird?
Just saying.
Or basically all of some suburbs, like
Right.
West Chicago. West Chicago's what, 30,000 people?
Yeah, something like that.
So, like, imagine the whole suburb is gone and people that live near it.
Yep. Yeah, and of course, the issue is that 988 promotes itself as being confidential, but they are mandated legal reporters. So, you know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and then also, they note that the imminent risk policy applies to a much broader range of situations than an imminent death policy. Involuntary emergency service interventions are when a call attendant feels that a person could be at imminent risk for suicide, not imminent death, right? Two very different concepts. So yeah, it's and then they also say, like, trying to spin it, that the majority of interventions are done with the consent and cooperation of the caller. See, again, the majority. What about the ones that aren't?
And then how many is that?
Exactly. And how many of them are actually fucking voluntary, really?
Well, again, 81,000 is the same as 0 because it's only 2%.
It's only 2%. Yeah. It remains unclear what consent means, though, when some Lifeline call attendants reportedly tell certain callers that police will come for them, whether they voluntarily disclose their location or not. What in the fuck? That sounds like a fucking, like, dystopian sci-fi nightmare. Let me read that sentence again. Now that I just lost it. It seems... Oh, shit, I just lost it. Okay. Lifeline call attendants reportedly tell certain callers that police will come for them whether they voluntarily disclose their location or not. So you didn't even tell them where they are and police are just going to show up at your fucking house and there's nothing you can do about it? That's just supposed to make suicidal people comfortable. This is helping. Telling people who are in a mental health crisis that police are going to show up whether they have disclosed their location or not.
Ugh. And this is a national number.
Yes.
988.
Yes. So, I mean, I would not call them myself, but, you know, yeah.
Ugh.
Because, yeah.
And we don't recommend it on this program.
I don't. And also because I have been involuntarily hospitalized, and that shit was fucking terrible. Like, it was just brutal. Also, especially in terms of treatment, because if you don't do the treatments they want you to do, you're labeled like uncooperative and combative, and it like lengthens your stay. Yeah, because I was hospitalized for postpartum depression many moons ago, and one of the big things that they were trying to get me to do was electroshock therapy. Like, I had to literally fight them to not get the fucking electroshock therapy. And I actually increased my stay time because I wouldn't fucking do it.
Right, and how many of them just want to do it? They just want to cause harm. Like, let's not forget that words exist because they were needed to describe something. Someone had to come up with the word sadist after they noticed that some people exhibited certain behaviors and desires.
Well, yeah, you know where that term comes from, right?
No, I don't know the etymology.
Marquis de Sade.
Nope, don't know.
He was a French aristocrat who engaged in sexual proclivities that were terrible. Where, like, it was a known thing. He would go, like, basically pick up sex workers and just, like, beat the ever-loving shit out of them. And that was where the term, because his last name was de Sade, and that was where sadism came from as a concept. But, like, yeah, and yeah, with him, actually, just random historical side note, the only reason he even got in trouble for doing that is because one of the sex workers who he basically tied her down and, like, whipped her and then, like, poured, like, hot, like, candle wax and shit on her after, like, beating her. The only reason he got in trouble is because he did it, like, on a holiday, like a religious holiday. It was, like, Easter or some shit. And that was the reason he got in trouble. Not for what he did to her against her consent, because it was, like, Easter or Christmas or some shit.
Yeah, you don't do that on fucking Jesus Egg Day. How the fuck dare you?
But, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's where the...
And then they turned that into what's supposed to be a good-looking, sexy scene in the movie Basic Instinct. Right, because that was candle, if I remember right. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, folks, we're gonna do different news. We're gonna do some good news. I've been promising this good news since 2014, and it's coming.
Well, there's the orcas, right? I guess that's kind of good.
Orca,
news.
yep. Willie is free.
Yes.
I don't know why there aren't more Free Willy jokes out there with this shit. Like, come on, 90s kids, get on it.
I think probably because that was a long time ago.
Willy-nilly nonsense.
That movie is old.
Yeah, it was like 1993 or so.
Something like that.
I'm telling you right now, all you gotta do, and also, is it a copyright issue?
Oh, cool.
Like, because I'm telling you right now, I want to take, because there's video clips of like some people getting their boats rocked by them.
Mm-hmm.
Put that clip in slow motion and play the Michael Jackson "Will You Be There." Like, that's all you gotta do, and it's popping. Yeah, nobody wants to do the cool stuff. I'll do it. I'll post it to Twitter because Twitter is Elon's wild, wild west. I don't think copyrights matter there anymore. All right, and then we're moving on to relationship talk.
Yes.
Ooh, excuse me.
But we're going to take a bathroom break first.